Hello, growers. If you enjoy podcasts like this one, tune into my podcast In Search of Soil on YouTube for a deep dive into the mysteries beneath our feet. Join me as I explore topics such as mycorrhizal fungi, mushrooms, compost, biochar, and more. It's a soil nerd's dream. We're going deep. We're talking to scientists about all things soil related. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or a gardener just starting out, our podcast has something for everyone. Listen in and grow with us. Check out In Search of Soil on YouTube.
I guess I'll kind of start with like what I think of as like the basics of crop planning. And I try to kind of come up with some certain steps that we take on our farm. So I guess number one would be a list of the crops we want to grow. So your dream crops, if you could grow anything, like what would you grow? So we will kind of just like come up with a list of everything we grew last year, things we want to grow this year, anything new. And that's kind of like how we start thinking about it. And from there, really thinking about like how much do you want to grow of each crop? It's like for us, we're always thinking like how much we grew the year before. And then it's like, do we want to grow more of that specific crop or less of that specific crop? Because it sold well at the farmer's market last year. We think it might sell better, or just our feeling on like if we should have more or less of it on our farm, basically.
And how over the years have you determined both in the list of what you're going to grow and in the quantities you're going to grow? How have you guys worked to define what those things will be?
Yeah, so for us, like the list of crops, we kind of like there's two things that I think are really important for us. And it's, do we like to eat it? And are we good at growing it? Or does it grow here without like a ton of pest pressure, or like the climate is more ideal for growing that crop? So we've always found like if we like the food that we're growing, it's way easier to sell it because you're more excited. Like people can just tell that you're like more enthusiastic about sharing recipes or just like talking about it in general. So and then like what crops we want to grow. It's like also thinking about like wherever you're selling to, like the farmer's market, where can you find those niches where the market's not saturated already? So all of those like kind of thoughts and considerations comes into the list of crops we want to grow. And we've like cut some things, we've added things in. Every year we try a few new things just to keep it fun, because you can only grow so many radishes before you're like, I'm sick of radishes.
Can you give some examples of some of the stuff? Well, let's just take this year, some of the stuff that you've cut and some of the stuff that you're adding.
Yeah, so we're mostly cutting like reducing the amount of certain crops, like less kale because there's so much kale at our market. We're adding more broccolini this year because you can't take enough of that to the market, and it has a really good $1 per bed foot. It just pumps broccolini. Then we're trying some new things this year. We're trying a bed of celery and some kohlrabi. And then I guess the other like differences is like we haven't really ever done fall beets well. So we're doing more beets in the spring because that's when they seem to grow really well for us here. So just kind of like taking notes on like when crops just like totally flop, like, all right, let's not do that again. And then like taking notes of like, oh, beets like in the spring, like if you look back at like our pictures from the farmer's market, we're like, oh my God, they were so beautiful. Like the foliage is amazing. Like, and they just like grew really well. So trying to just like notice those observations throughout the season.
Do you guys take any cues from your customers as well? If you hear enough of a request about something, maybe you'll consider growing those.
We try to where we can. We are pretty small scale, like with the amount of bed feet we have. So if we do, it's like usually a very small amount. And then because we have a small CSA, we also try to have like a bigger variety of crops on our farm instead of, just, focusing on the things that like make the most money. We still do like potatoes, and we try to do a little bit of cone cabbage and just a few things to where it's not just the same items every single week.
Hello, growers. Looking for a simple way to supercharge your diet with powerful nutrients? Meet broccoli microgreens. These tiny sprouts pack 10 to 100 times more nutrition than mature broccoli, making them a true superfood. With their mild flavor, broccoli microgreens can be added to any meal or smoothie, giving you a tasty health boost. They're easy to grow, ready in just 7 to 9 days, and thrive in various environments. Rich in sulforaphane, calcium, vitamin C, vitamin A, iron. They protect your cells and fight inflammation. Perfect for boosting your health goals or as a market crop. Start growing them today and experience the benefits. Get 100% organic, pathogen-tested and pathogen-free broccoli microgreen seeds at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below.